G'day, g'day. My name's Alan Gamble. Welcome to another episode of Aussie Box Office Charts. Weekend 11. We've got a new number one. Let's dive in. At number one this weekend was Goat, the new family animated movie, coming in with just under $2.3 million for a current total of just over 4.5. Now, I'm not sure how it got that number, but we are missing a lot of data at the moment with one of the big number sites being down. As soon as that comes clear, we'll see next week what it actually is. At number two, Reminders of Him, opening with $1.5 million for a current total of 1.8. That seems a lot more reasonable with Thursday night previews and stuff like that, which means both Scream 7 and Wuthering Heights moved down to 3 and 4, with Wuthering Heights landing at number 3 with $800,000, dropping 41% in its fifth week for a current total of $19.1 million. And Scream 7 drops all the way down to 4th with another just under $800,000, third week in release, dropping 51% for a current total of just over $7 million. Now, Reminders of Him is the latest Colleen Hoover movie. She's had a couple out, and she's got another one coming out this year called Verity. We're going to dive into her numbers after the top 10, and we've also got an update to the top openings with Goat. Rounding out the top 5, though, is How to Make a Killing with another $300,000, dropping 50% in its second week for a current total of just over $1 million. Moving on to 6 through 10. At number 6, we have Elvis Presley in Concert with another $200,000. Its fourth week in release, holding really well, dropping just 18% in its fourth week of release for a current total of $3.7 million. Cold Storage opens in 7th with just under $200,000. I did try to go see Cold Storage, however, there were no session times that aligned for me. Crime 101 is down to number 8 with another $150,000. Its fifth week in release, dropping 52% for a current total of $5.3 million. The Bride, down to number 9 after just a week, dropping 74% in its second week of release. That is a massive drop for the Australian market because that's a big drop in the US market. Our drops are always less, considerably, than the US domestic because we're such a smaller market. Things aren't opening in 4,000 screens and then dropping back to 200 screens. 74% for a non-Indian or Chinese movie is massive. Absolutely massive. Not good at all for that movie. I don't even think it'll be on the top 10 next week. And rounding out the top 10, though, is Sunshine's Women's Choir, a Chinese movie about a women's prison choir. That one brings in just under $100,000. Opening outside the top 10, but we don't know where, we have things like Arco that I did manage to catch before the Oscars, and Dolly, the new horror movie. So we don't know where that opened because of the number restrictions that are ongoing. As soon as they're cleared up, we'll have some more details and I'll be able to dive into them. Let's take a look at the top openings of 2026. So, not much has changed for the top openings of 2026. Goat has managed to sneak into 5th position with its $2.3 million opening, dropping out Crime 101 that opened with $1.9 million. No other changes. Wuthering Heights is still the top opening movie of the year. Scream 7 is the second highest. Marty Supreme and Song Sung Blue should get a shake-up as we move into the next few weeks. So, Reminders of Him just opened, the latest Colleen Hoover movie. So I thought we'd check her openings because she's had a few movies come out over recent years. In 2024, she had It Ends With Us, one of her more popular books, one of her most popular books. And it opened to $6.1 million back in 2024. Regretting You last year opened to $1.6 billion. Significant drop-off, but the book itself was less popular as well. Reminders of Him is in that same boat, around $1.5 million. So on a similar footing to Regretting You, nowhere near It Ends With Us. Now, her next movie that's opening later this year, Verity, I'm under the impression that that is also a very, very popular book. So it'll be interesting to see that chart when we look at it later this year when Verity opens. And we'll take a quick updated look at the Scream franchise totals as Scream 7 does make its way up this chart. It's currently looking like it's the third highest grossing Scream franchise unadjusted for inflation, which is good, but it is dropping off really hard. I think it will still beat Scream 6, but not by a lot. And more importantly, not so much when we adjust for inflation. When we adjust for inflation, I'll be surprised if it does even beat Scream 6, because it's dropping off significantly harder and faster than Scream 6 did. So we'll see how it ends up, but obviously nowhere near the original trilogy. Moving on to the 2026 top 10 at the Australian box office. So the top 10 of everything released in calendar year 2026. Wuthering Heights still holds number 1 with $19.1 million. Song Sung Blue at number 2 with $12.1 million. Mighty Supreme at number 3 with $9.4 million. Scream 7 at number 4 with its just over $7 million. Crime 101 at $5.3 million, holding number 5. Number 6 is Hamnet with just over $5 million. Goat enters the chart with its reported $4.5 million, enters the chart at number 7. If that number turns out to be inaccurate, it will get updated on next week's show. That drops Iron Lung down to number 8 with its just over $4 million. Elvis Presley in Concert, just keep on dancing away as it moves up the chart to number 9 with its $3.7 million. That knocks Send Help down to number 10 with its $3.5 million. And The Coral is dropped out, one of the movies that opened on January 1st, 2026. Moving on to upcoming releases. Theatrical releases, 19th of March. Wide releases, we've got a couple of big ones. Project Hail Mary, easily one of my most anticipated movies of 2026, and I've already bought my ticket and booked the day off on Thursday to go and see it. This is big new sci-fi, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, is based on the Andy Weir novel, starring Ryan Gosling and Sandra Hüller. We also have Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, a sequel to the 2019 original, this time starring Samara Weaving alongside Catherine Newton and Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's directed by Tyler Gillett, Matt Bettinelli-Opin. In limited release, so check your local and indie cinemas. We have Duranda, The Revenge. It's a Hindi language sequel out of India and is a 4-hour-long sequel to the 2025 movie Duranda. That was like 3.5 hours. So if you like that, you're getting a lot more. We also have Tho Oi, aka Bunny, which is a Vietnamese comedy drama, and Ustad Bhagat Singh, a new Telugu language action movie out of India. Moving across to streaming, we have Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. Peaky Blinders returns with its final movie to wrap up the series that started all the way back in 2013, and it's ended its 6-season run back in 2022. You can catch it on Netflix on March 20th. We also have Jury Duty presents Company Retreat. Jury Duty returns with a new miniseries, this time set in the titular Company Retreat. If you didn't watch Jury Duty from 2023, you should, it's great. But the basic premise is it's a full series hoax show where everyone is in on it except the singular subject. Catch it on March 20th on Amazon Prime. In returning series, we have Invincible. Invincible returns for its 4th season. I really should catch up on this one, but Amazon Prime, 18th of March is where it can be found. And finally, we have Deadlock. Returning for its 2nd season, Deadlock can be found on March 20th on Amazon Prime. So, for 6 movies for this week's challenge, let's dive in. First up was Alien from 1979, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, and Ian Holm. A commercial spaceship Nostromo intercepts a distress signal from a distant planet, only to start a chain of events that will spiral out of control. A continuation of my Dan Morale's Alien Watch Order Rewatch project, this week completing 3 of the main movies, as you will see, and as a number of shorts as well. But my first rewatch of Alien in a very long time, and it's still great. You shouldn't need me or anyone else to tell you that. Next up was Arco from 2025, directed by Hugo Benvue, and starring as the English voice cast for the theatrical release that I saw, Romy Faye, Giuliano Valdi, Mark Ruffalo, Natalie Portman, Will Farrell, and Andy Samberg. 10-year-old Arco lives in a far future, and during his first flight in his rainbow suit, he loses control and falls into the past and needs the help of Iris, a girl his age from 2075, where he ends up. The final Best Animation nominee I had left to watch, and it was great. Looked amazing, great story, and great characters. I think I would have preferred the French version, but the English cast version was still great. And now, after seeing them all, I can say comfortably, having seen all nominated animation films of 2025 Oscars, any Academy voter that put K-pop Demon Hunters above Arco or Little Amiel and the character of Rain straight up didn't watch the other nominees. I'm sorry, but Arco and Little Amiel are in a league of their own. They are not in competition with Zootopia 2 and K-pop Demon Hunters. I know it didn't win, and I know K-pop Demon Hunters did win, and I think that is a crime. Sorry, it's a fun movie. It looks nice. The soundtrack is great, but it is not on the same level as animation as those two movies. Moving on was a pair of shorts from 2025 with A Friend of Dorothy in Best Live Action Short and Forever Green in Best Animated Short. A Friend of Dorothy was written and directed by Lee Knight and was a lovely little short film about a pair of unlikely friends, and Forever Green was directed by Nathan Engelhardt and Jeremy Spears and was a gorgeously animated short. Next on the cards was Alien Romulus from 2024, directed by Fede Alvarez, and starring Kaylee Spenny, David Johnson, and Isabel Merced. This was a rewatch for me. While scavenging in the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonizers find the results of a derelict research station. A fun one to rewatch, with the original still being fresh in my mind. And I really do like this one, but it still leans too hard on the member berries at a couple of points for my liking. I think if I was to make my own edit and just edit out a couple of tiny things, we would have an A-tier Alien movie. The first act is awesome. I just wish it maintained that level of standing alone and doing its own thing for the entire movie. Finally, obviously, was Aliens Special Edition from 1986, directed by James Cameron and starring Sigourney Weaver, Carrie Henn, Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen, and Bill Paxton. Ripley, the sole survivor of the Nostromo's deadly encounter with the monstrous alien, returns to Earth after drifting through space in hypersleep for 57 years. Another great movie, again, that I had not rewatched in more than 13 years. Great movie then, great today, probably great in another 10 years from now. I think the special edition adds a bit more setting up at the start of the movie and the new colony terraforming operation, like the admin side of things, which I actually kind of like. I think the special edition was an improvement. This week's Cinechums Movie Challenge is Oscars in Memoriam. So, things starring any of the people that passed away during 2025 that are all shown here. So, people have gotten started with things like Runaway Jury or The Natural. We've got a lot of options like All the President's Men and Beetlejuice and Apocalypse Now. Continue, Dances with Wolves, Heat. Lots of options. Let's have a look at my shortlist, which has a few things like Harakiri, Thelma and Louise, The Sing, Serpico, Kill Bill, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Annie Hall, Godfather Part 2, Mission Impossible, The Five Bloods. There is so many I've got to watch this week. I'm spoiled for choice. We've got a whole bunch of samurai movies, Ran, Sanjuro, Jojimba. Let's see how we go. And that is it for me this week. Tune in next week where we will hopefully be clarifying some numbers that may have been logged in error. But otherwise, I've already booked my Project Hail Mary ticket for Thursday. I've logged the day off work. I'm seeing that. We will be checking the numbers of Project Hail Mary and Ready or Not compared to the original. We'll see how they all compare and stack up next week. But have a good one. Watch more movies. Bye.